Speaker, when the Premier and the Minister of Energy kicked the First Nations Upgrader project into the gutter, it was at the conditional commitment agreement stage. Now, this stage involves zero risk to the province. Now, the agreement required the First Nations to spend about $200 million further developing the proposal. It also required the project, in the end, to be nearly 3 times as profitable to the Alberta government than the Northwest Upgrader, which the province has already approved. So, to the Premier, why the higher standard for this project?
The Honourable Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, they're comparing a bit of apples and oranges here. The Northwest Upgrader and this project are 2 totally different projects. They're 2 totally different stages. Mr. Speaker, the honourable member earlier had referenced how this project they felt was very, very viable. And we hope, Mr. Speaker, that projects, given the market, given the status of where the logistics of getting product to market are, that projects will proceed. And they don't necessarily need to have government intervention. We get projects unsolicited to us on a regular basis. Our job is to verify.
The honourable member, please.
Thanks very much, Mr. Speaker. Back to the Premier. Would this project have been approved if it had the backing of 3 Calgary-based oil companies instead of 3 First Nations companies?
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, for the, I think, 3rd time in less than 2 weeks, I'll repeat, it was strictly a business decision. We want more upgrading in this province. We have hundreds of thousands of brick barrels, but we cannot make commitments that are economically unsustainable. It's a risk to the Alberta taxpayer, and it's not one that we could accept and be responsible.
The honourable member.
Economically unsustainable. I'm just curious. Back to the Premier again. Is this then just a matter of the First Nations not contributing enough to the PC leadership campaigns, given that Meg Energy gave $65,000 to the 5 who declared their contributions, and the CNRL and Mr. Alan Markin ponied up $135,000 combined to the 4 of them?
The Honourable Deputy Premier.
Well, Mr. Speaker, Albertans across this province take part in the democratic process. We encourage that, in fact, and we ask that all Albertans would do that. Both the Liberals and the Wild Rose have received contributions from the same players in this particular enterprise, so obviously that's not an issue. Mr. Speaker, we don't worry about whether they've contributed to any party. What we do is we make a decision based on the value for all taxpayers in the province. All taxpayers, Mr. Speaker.